Hey everybody, this is Perch. Is writing Spider-Man in modern day a career liability? Well, let's ask about that. A listener. Why do I always keep defaulting to? Well, it's because I'm reading the mail, so I'm the reader. A reader's asking me, a person who's reading. You know what? I've overthought this. Anyway, here's a question to the show, dear Perch. Just a simple question for you: is writing for Spider-Man currently a career liability? Theoretically, a high-profile creator with constantly high sales, like Spider-Man, would be a golden opportunity for most writers in comics, whether it's getting their name out to comic readers to leverage into another book or an indie project, or just getting consistent work, or having a higher chance of getting reprinted and collected in trades for the foreseeable future. You would have your run on a character and that prestige mark of a legacy on a character. However, in the modern day, and to an outsider of Marvel, me, it seems like there is so much toxicity surrounding Spider-Man that even good faith attempts at a run are bashed when they come out and bashed in retrospect. Every run that doesn't do the one thing fans want, Paul taking over the book, of course it's Restore the Marriage. There's some sarcasm there. Paul taking over the book. By the way, you know what? I'm going to finish this mail, then we'll get to the by the ways. It says everyone that doesn't do the thing fans want steers further and further into the ire of fans who are already exhausted of repeating storylines and already bad ideas. I heard Peter is going to be split in two and one half will have space adventures. Oh, fuck, I hope not. I hope that's more sarcasm. But, it's funny because in modern Marvel, you're like, meh, I wonder. Could be. Is this a solicitation or news story I haven't read yet? It could be. Anyway, maybe there's a major benefit taking on Spider-Man as a writer. I don't see as a reader. I mean, pay. That's probably it. But as long as that marriage is not restored, it really seems like it's going to hang over anything you write, whether you're liked by fans, or could potentially hold back whatever potential you have to kick you off your own creative work after. What do you think? P.S. There's no P.S. Part of me thinks it'd be funny if a writer was hired to do Spider-Man, but only on the condition of using a pen name. Ha 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 ha. It's funny you say that because there was a writer who was approached who did make that offer for a very different reason, but that's a video for another day. So that's a tease. So is it a career liability? Well, I mean, the thing is, and I think the best example is I'd bring to your attention is that the fans can snap back when they're given something that feels genuinely positive for them. And I think the best example of that is Nick Spencer. So Nick Spencer, who had a pretty solid indie run with some pretty good comics I liked a lot. The Morning Glories comic I enjoyed, kind of a different type thing. I liked him. And then he did the Captain America Hydra Cap stuff. He did stuff before that. And that was not, people didn't like that. And he did Secret Empire and people really didn't like that. And around the time, I think he was one of the people who's kind of caught up in the no Trump, no, damn it, Trump, that got a lot of people really angry. He wasn't at the same volume level of a Mark Waid or a Dan Slott that really got the culture wars growing, but he was in the epicenter in 2016, 2017, 2018, when a lot of the culture war stuff was really going hard at comics, and if you sneezed wrong, you took a side. And I'm not saying it was as simple as he sneezed wrong. I mean, he very definitively stated that, Trump people are a bunch of dickheads and all that. And then he had this run on Captain America, which kind of felt like it was trying to do a little bit of this is what's happening to our country, fascism. And then Secret Empire sucked as a series. It was a dumb story. It basically had Hydra taking over the entire America in like a week. It featured, the Deus Machina of Inhuman who could vomit a cosmic cube. I mean, you had some real bad stuff in there. If you thought Brian Michael Bendis' Civil War II with the Inhuman who could see the future, sort of, who would evolve into a cosmic being was bad, and it was, then the Inhuman who could vomit up cosmic cubes was bad. And you may be saying like, Perch is exaggerating, like the guy was actually teleporting stuff in. No, the guy was vomiting the cosmic cube, including like poor old like Steve McNiven's like having to draw pictures of a guy vomiting up like lunch boxes and toys. Like, I mean, that is what the comic was. No exaggeration. There was a lot of vomit. Anyway, but Spencer then went on to do Amazing Spider-Man, and Ryan Otley was over there, and it was funny because almost, I mean, it took very little time, and I like to bring this up when people say things like the comic industry is dead forever, it's dead and buried, nobody's ever going to come back, it's impossible. Um, I for what it's worth, I think the people who, like I said in their video, if you're really hard into that mentality, then I think you're not coming back. But for the general fan base, who was pretty ticked off at Nick Spencer, hated that run. Again, most of the people who didn't like Secret Empire had never seen a single tweet by Spencer, had no idea who he voted for. But the event sucked. And so he got a bad name for that. And then he did Spider-Man, and it's like, oh, this run's pretty good. And he got, I mean, it's like, I took just a very little amount of time, and fans were like, fuck yes, we're on board. And by and large, there's some dumb stuff in that run too, the whole Sin Eater kind of stuff, and Kindred, the revisiting of the Children of Gwen Stacy storyline that was it was pretty shitty. It's the thing that competes on a regular basis with One More Day for being terrible. But he got a lot of fans back behind him again. It actually, to the point where when he came off the book, and was Zeb Wells came on. Is that right, Zeb Wells? Anyway, and Nick Spencer was actually building to Peter and Mary Jane dating, getting back together. I mean, they were dating and they came back together again, and people liked it. And then they're like, whoopsie, we'll just introduce Paul now. And so my point in all this is you can build your career through Spider-Man. The question is editorial going to let you? And then I think to your comment, yeah, I think there's some things in comics where, we could say it's toxic. You could use any word you want, but it's a case where the readership just really wants something to be true, a majority of the readership. And they're not, if you don't give them that, or worse, you kind of do a bait and switch type stuff, which is what the last run did before the one we're currently in, then yeah, your fans are going to reject it and reject you. And in that sense, yeah, it could be bad for your career. You can go on and do something else, but it's almost like you got to do a palate cleanser. For Nick Spencer, the palate cleanser was Spider-Man. He was able to go in there and kind of, to a lot of extent, win a lot of fans back. So it's possible to do that and do it fairly quickly. You just got to put out a good, solid run. I mean, look, in my opinion, in the year 2025, there's a few things that just are going to be true. And if you mess with them, the fans are going to reject it. It's not going to sell well. This is a commercial enterprise, not a, art in a little gallery in Soho enterprise. It's a commercial enterprise. And so going against the grain on that stuff is dumb. And one of those is, Spider-Man's marriage to Mary Jane, or at the very least, Spider-Man dating Mary Jane. People like Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Mary Jane together. That's what they want. That's what they like. That's what they expect. They've got decades of TV shows, of movies. I mean, nearly every movie, not all of them, but the majority of them, have featured a Mary Jane in some form or fashion. In cartoons, in TV, in movies. Generally, there's a Peter Parker loves Mary Jane. And that's the story. And including even the even the Spider-Verse films. Did I say Spider-Verse? Spider-Verse films featuring Miles. What's the story that they really like? What's the kind of emotional hang your hat on Peter Parker? Well, yeah, he's married to Mary Jane. They have a baby. They did that in the Spider-Verse movie because they're not idiots. When they go to, whatever you think of, the current casting for Mary Jane, the writers, the directors know that the Mary Jane Peter dynamic is an important one in cartoons. It's an important one. It's like, that's just a thing. So if you're going to go against the grain on that, you're making life very difficult for yourself. Full stop. No cap. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to try to do that. What do you think? Is Spider-Man a career death for a writer these days? I don't think it's any more career death than just, frankly, any big two project where you don't have editorial control and you're going to go in and have to just tread water on a beloved character for any length of time. I think it's going to hurt you. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for listening.